Hello, housemates, and welcome back to Avernum 2 Crystal Souls. Excuse me. Alright, so we are going here with the save that I've titled Avernum United because we have all of the possible races present. We are just at the beginning in Fort Ganrick. We've done nothing but the preliminaries, going over my plan for this party. So let's get into some actual gameplay. Alright, so here we are in our dank cave, about to start doing some fucking digging. Let's get to it. As you'll notice, everyone has garbage equipment. We have leather and a dagger, so we're not ready for much. You stumble groggily out of the cave that has been your unwilling home for several weeks. Your muscles are still sore from yesterday's digging. You've been working on these storage tunnels for weeks. You notice that the gate to the north is closed. Most Avernites have learned to resist claustrophobia, but seeing your lone route to the exit closed off makes you nervous. You can see Maxine on the other side. Maybe she knows what's happening. Before you proceed further, however, you should protect your head with a helmet. 2 crude helms of thick lizard skin wait for you on the table nearby. You should take advantage of them before you move on. Only 2? There are 4 heads here, people. Come on. I'm gonna call OSHA about this shit. Alright, so the inventory interface is the same as with the last one. You can press letters to pick shit up, and then you can put things on your body, like so. Oops. Gotta give that over here. This is some garbage equipment, but garbage equipment is all we have. Let's talk to this Maxine lady. The lizard skin helm is crude and dirty, but it will keep falling stones from cracking your precious skull bones. You look with regret at the door to the south. Time to start digging. No, time to talk to Maxine. You look through the gate and see Maxine, hard at work. She is a skilled stoneworker, sent into Avernum not long before the Empire invaded. Her skin still shows a tiny remnant of color from being in the sun. She is behind a closed gate, fixing stone blocks in the frame with mortar. She nods and smiles when she sees you. Sorry, trapped you in there. Won't be long. At least you can dig uninterrupted. What's happening out in the fort? Don't know. Probably just building. I stay down here so that I don't get any news. It's just upsetting. What's happening with this gate? I just need to close it for a few minutes to place this frame in. Won't be long. Take your time. Oh, it won't be long. Why don't you do your digging? Looks like you only have a few more years of it to go. She returns to her work. Thanks, Maxine. I want to talk to you about some other things. Have you heard anything about the barriers? Just rumors, most likely meaningless. The barriers are still everywhere, blocking the roads to the rest of Avernum. The wizards can't do anything about them. We are in horrible trouble. Tell me more about yourself. I'm not a big soldier like you, just another unfortunate who said the wrong thing, got the wrong man angry, and was sent down here. Why did you come to Fort Ganrick? I had to help out somewhere, and I had skills to use. This fort needs to be finished. Once I was down here, your war against the Empire became my war. So you can ask, what did you say to get sent down here? But that is a rude question in Avernum, so we're going to avoid being rude to people that we have to be stuck working with for a long period of time. Not that there's any kind of actual like RP consequences in this game, where if you say something, someone gets pissed at you forever and you can't talk to them again. It just doesn't work like that. You can just go right back into the conversation and eventually exhaust every possibility. But that, in addition to sort of being a bit rude, takes time, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to click out and go to our work. You enter the room you've spent several weeks expanding. Your worn tools wait on the floor, promising exhausting hours of chipping away at one of Avernum's unending walls. However, things do not go as planned. As you enter the cave, the ground shakes under your feet, slightly at first, then harder. It doesn't feel like one of Avernum's many cave quakes. No, this is more local. and then you hear cracking stone, and a cloud of dust pours out of the passage to the south. Then you hear the chattering of shrill voices. Something has dug its way into your fort. We're about to enter combat. No. That's the same thing that happens to the screen when someone casts Divine Retribution, which is fucking nasty. Alright, there's some... we're not going to go through these tutorials. These are goblins. So, one thing that we're going to want to get into the habit of ASAP is using the layout of the dungeon to our tactical advantage. So this is probably how we're going to fight a lot of battles. We have our 2 melee people doing this, trying to choke off the access of our foes so that we only have to face them a couple at a time, and so they can't get back to our back line of the arrow dude and the spellcaster. So we're just going to sit them here. Then we'll position this guy so he's got a good line of sight of enemies. He doesn't have a bow right now, so obviously that's not going to work at the moment. And then this one will go here. So what spells does he have at the moment? He's got 4 of these, so he'll probably have 4 of priest skills as well. He's got Daze, which we may want to make more use of than we did in our Avernum 1 playthrough, because if enemies are super tough, and I'm hoping that's mostly with respect to their hit points and not their resistances, then we want to lock some of them down so we don't have to deal with so many at once. So Daze is going to be helpful. Cloak of Curses will be helpful. We should probably cast this right now because it will go throughout the rest of our encounter in this area. And that just lets us do more, put debuffs on our enemies as we attack. Call Beast. Call Beast is not really ever going to be that helpful. It calls like a fucking rat or something, which will probably get eaten up really fast. And then Bolt of Fire we will use constantly because it's so cheap, and eventually it will do tons of damage with our elemental specialization. For now, I'm going to go with Cloak of Curses. All right. Okay, we're taking a good amount of damage. So we don't have any... Okay, we do have a Battle Discipline. So you can see we want 15 because we want to get up to Adrenaline Rush because it adds 20 action points. Because of sort of stat maxing concerns, we are not really going to bother with the rest of these. Battle Frenzy is okay, but it's really not worth getting up to those last 5, putting in those last 5 points in a base weapon skill. So with our warriors, we're only going to get to 15 with their base weapon skills. Right now, we just have Well-Aimed Blow. We're going to use it. Nice. And we put a War Curse on him. War Curse means that his chance to hit and his damage, I think, are nerfed a bit. So you can see we have 3 turns cooldown on that. We're going to do the same thing with this dude. He's going to do less damage because he's not good with bladed weapons. That's not his skill, but he did manage to hit nonetheless. You're going to have to sit here because you can do fuck all. Now, I will note, we can move him, sub him in, switch him with one of these without incurring any action point loss. However, that would not be particularly helpful because he has 0 melee skills, so we're just going to sit him down. And now we're back to you. Let's see how much damage we can do with this. 24, pretty good. All right, and let's see if we can kill you. We're going to not move in because then we could get surrounded. We're just going to stick right here, let our cooldown go. Now we might try and daze some people. Oh wait, we have pre-spells with you as well. So let's do protection. And that'll get everyone in line of sight within a particular radius. So that means they will... foes have a 10% less chance to hit, and we take 10% less damage, which is pretty good. So obviously that scales as enemies increase in power. We could heal a little bit, but he's, I think, in pretty good shape. So we could smite, but that costs 4, whereas this cost 1, and fewer things are immune to it, I found. All right, we can do another well-aimed blow, as can you. Okay, good. We're still going to sit right here. And this will tell you how many turns you have left on buffs, so 2 left. And then this just lasts until we cast a different cloak spell, or until we leave a dungeon or town area. So we're doing pretty well. I wouldn't expect us to be hitting this frequently in the Torment mode, but I guess it just gives them more hit points and makes them nastier in terms of when they hit you. Maybe. It's not very clear. We do want to make sure that we have spell points, so we don't want to overspend. We will want to use spells only when necessary, probably. I'm being probably a bit profligate at the moment. All right, there's probably only one person left now, so we're going to move in. We should heal our lizard person now. That's easy to do. We don't really have anything in the way of first aid yet. Nice. 61 damage already. All right, that was our first combat. I need to go check the door. I will be right back. Sorry about the delay. All right, sorry about that. Hopefully I'll remember to cut that long pause out. At my house, when you're expecting a package, you have to sort of really listen for a knock at the door because I live on an alley and there's no place for them to put, for the delivery people to put packages other than on the steps, and they don't want to do that. And sometimes they kind of only half-assedly check if anyone's here, and so you have to jump down to the door and deal with it. Turns out it was someone doing like a survey, so I had to like get rid of them. Okay, we just finished fighting some goblins. Let's see what we've got going on. Goblins are a perpetual pest in the underworld. Simple-minded, violent, enthusiastic breeders. It's far from the first time you've had to fight them. However, they're very disorganized. It looks like they have been working on digging this little tunnel for weeks. Goblins never engage in such a sustained project unless someone much more powerful forces them to. You suddenly have a very bad feeling. You need to walk out to the main fort and let them know what's happening. Okay, there's a chest back here. Some money and some mushrooms. Just so that you know, food actually does have a purpose outside of simply giving you insignificant amounts of health in Avernum 2. There are places in the open world where you can rest, and it requires food for you to be able to do so. So food is a bit more important because there are long stretches where you won't have any towns, but you will have places that you can rest sort of in the outdoors or in dungeon type areas, but you need food to do it. So it is a good idea to keep some on hand. Unsurprisingly, the dead goblins were not the only threat. The sounds of battle echo from the north. Happily, Maxine managed to get the gate open, so you can reach the carnage that much more quickly. Something terrible is happening. As you approach the gate, a wall to the east collapses. A goblin head timidly pokes out of the wreckage, looking for victims. When he sees you, he ducks back and calls gleefully to his fellows. All right, so that's over here. Goblin. So if you can see an enemy and you don't auto-engage in combat, you should force engage the combat because oftentimes you will get to act first. It's like sometimes you get a surprise round. And that will be even more true the more like dexterity and certain skills that you have. All right, so do our protection. So they are taking a lot of hits, but we happily are able to hit, at least. So once again, we're going to bottleneck them. This is a strategy which will make fights take longer, but in the long run, it will mean that we'll lose fewer fights. Because sort of overwhelming you with numbers is often how the enemies will defeat you. Goblin warrior as opposed to just a goblin. And you can see that there's still a goblin down here. We're going to wait around, get our protection going, and then poke our head down here. It's just one. So the reason why I'm careful with my positioning is that ultimately we're going to be using backstab for coordinated tactics. So we're going to want to be able to make sure some ally can get next to our foes to help with the damage output. We'll leave you here. We'll move you down here in case some healing needs to be done. You don't have to have line of sight for healing, but there is a range still. An absolute range in squares. We're good. starting to whiff. There we go. You can see we don't yet get any energy and or health back because we have no first aid skill. So crude javelins, they do have javelins have a low chance of immobilizing enemies for a turn, so that's something in their favor. Crude javelins are worth nothing in terms of money. So there's really no point in picking them up unless you actually plan to throw them. So I suppose we could give them to you so that you have some kind of missile weapon for the time being, till a bow makes itself present. This storeroom is a large natural cave you discovered while digging passages in the rock behind the fort. Finding it was a huge relief. It saved you a lot of work. The passage down to the rest of the fort is to the north. Let's talk to Maxine. Maxine has dropped her tools and is wandering around dazed, not sure what is happening. You remember that she isn't a soldier, just a stonemason trapped in a terrible place. She looks at you. What is happening? Are we being attacked? It's just goblins, not a problem. But I hear more fighting toward the exit. It can't just be goblins, can it? Just stay here. All right. That seems safest. But what if more of them come out of the tunnel? I don't know what to do. She crouches and buries her face in her hands. All right, well, you do whatever there. Okay. Nope, nothing there. You hear shouting and running to the north, and then two Avernite soldiers run into the storeroom in a panic. They are new arrivals like you, green enough to be terrified of the goblins that are chasing them. Lame dudes. Alright. They're just going to run away. Okay, that's fine. So we don't have the option of choking off this point quite yet. Once you are within the squares of an enemy, if you move again, you incur an action point cost because they slow you down. So we can staunch the flow a little bit by blocking off this way, although we sacrifice a bit of action points to do it. So he can get in on the action. All right, he can still hit a bit. We're definitely going to want to protect our folks. Okay, ouch. Actually, come to think of it, you should back up. And let's see, using the javelins in order to immobilize this dude so that he's not going to move up for like 2 rounds, I think. We need to get to healing people. So you can see how choking off the flow of enemies is incredibly important because their damage quickly adds up, and that'll be more true when we fight nastier enemies that have lots of action points. Let's make sure. Damn. Okay, good. Ooh. I think we need to use your potion. See, again, you can see why I don't like, see this says melee attack, missile, melee, melee, I'm assuming that's melee, melee, missile. Yeah, so most of these are melee attacks. So ranged weapon users, focused ranged weapon users are a little bit underpowered as warriors because they don't really have use of many of the battle disciplines. And then in addition, as I said earlier, thrown weapons are kind of garbagey because they have ammunition. I think we should use some of your spell energy to help whittle these guys down. Yeesh. Oh, fuck. Alright, so this is going to happen a lot in this game, unfortunately. One of your characters has just been knocked unconscious. This happens when your health level reaches 0. To revive your character, walk through the gate of a friendly town. A return life spell cast by a powerful priest or a spell scroll can also revive an unconscious character. So we're just going to have to deal with 2 at the moment because we don't have any of that, which is unfortunate. Yeah, alright, so now we're seeing Torment rear its ugly head here at us. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Oh, we're screwed. So he's run out of missile weapons. Oh, this is all very bad. Balls. Fuck you, Goblin Warrior. Alright, I should have been using daze. I should have taken my own advice from earlier. That's part of the problem we have here. And additionally, I should have tried to get those fighters to help us out. Game over, man. Okay, so we've already taken a tumble into death in the intro area. The Empire now wishes nothing for Avernum but fiery destruction and cold vengeance. Alas, in your case, they have just gotten their wish. Fortunately, there is still hope. There are still many soldiers in Avernum yearning to fight off the invaders and protect their homeland. Any one of them could be the new savior of the underworld. Perhaps your next attempt will end in success. There's only one way to find out. Alright, it did not autosave. That's great. So we're going to have to go through all of that again. I'll probably edit this out because there's no reason for you to watch it again. Maybe I won't edit this out so that you can see how I should have done it the first time. That's right. Die, goblin. I see how you're going to be. It's surprising how good our Nephill is at actually hitting things, since he has 0 melee skill. I guess this is just a testament to how weak the first enemies are. Okay, I think they script full heal you after that little battle. So you can use a shield. Guess you go ahead and put a belt on you as well. Every little bit helps. One thing to take into account is that this gives us a minus 10% chance to hit. And you can see it encumbers mages. So every item that encumbers mages will tell you that it does, and that's like one level of encumbrance. You don't really pay attention to the weight encumbrance there. That's a separate thing that's going on, and that has to do with your action points. There's a special level of encumbrance wherein you just can't cast mage spells. And I think you can't cast mage spells if you have any item that says encumbers mages. But for each level of sword mage that you get, it sort of cancels out one of those items. So you can get 4 levels of sword mage, and therefore 4 encumbrance items. And I think there are only 4 item slots that encumber you: shield, boots, gloves, and armor. Maybe some helms do too. But in any case, you can cancel out 4 such slots if you have sword mage. And so that's the purpose of that trait. Can you switch places? So I need to be a bit more aggressive with the spell casting, I think. And we're going to want to position ourselves such that the fleeing soldiers will actually come back around and help us next time. Let's go ahead and refresh this. One thing I noticed between Avernum and Avernum 2 is that spells will miss much more frequently than they used to. Most infuriating is that area of effect spells will miss targets here and there much more frequently than they used to. So that's something to be aware of. All right. Another belt. So belts give a little bit of armor. Again, that's helpful. So let's see something here. Armor 14. Armor 16. Okay. Yeah. It does. It went up by. Yeah. So that stat tells you your total armor percentage, which is handy. So we'll go ahead and give him these javelins again. This time we will save. It's just goblins. You should stay here. Some terrified guards. All right, we're going to There we go. That's what we needed to do last time. Hey, you come back here. Your fellow is risking his life, and you're being a D-bag. So one thing that we'll get to see now is that when I cast this this pre-spell, or when I cast this buff, it will affect also our random allies. Ugh. See, they're pretty good. Well, fuck you. Good. We don't get XP when they kill things, so that's one sacrifice that we're making, but we just got owned last time, so we obviously need some help. And we won't spare spells like we did last time. Hey, you. Get down here, you shitbag. There you go. We got some help for you. You're not all by yourself. Also, so you do want to keep track of who is gone. This guy, C, hasn't attacked yet. D just attacked. So if we can kill C, that means he won't get an attack and we'll be much better off. Good. Again, I'm sad to sacrifice the XP, but it is necessary. Okay, let's see. It looks like it's just him at the moment. So we do want to make room for our friends. We want to avoid losing action points, so we go a little bit of a circuitous route. This will leave space for one of them to come in and do their thing. Ow. Okay, you can't switch places with non-party allies, only with your own. So like that. If I try and move to this space, it would say I can't get there. And if there's a way around, I'd start going a really long way. So you have to be careful about that. You can really fuck yourself over doing it that way. It's a big, bad mistake to make. Okay. So they're going to run away now. They'll be of no further help. Okay, so we made it through that time. All right, now there's a bow on the ground. Oh, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. So you should pick that up and use it. So now he's got a consistent 9 to 27 damage physical attack, which is good. We'll take these just in case. Take this healing potion. You can split stacks of things. So it's helpful to look at the ground and see the value of items. So this has no value in and of itself in terms of sell value, but you will, at least in one instance, need to collect one of these for a quest, so it may be helpful to have. Take this. You do now have a junk bag, which is separate from your inventory. You can just put random stuff in it, and you can sell it all at once if you want to. So I'm just going to put things that don't have a monetary value in there for right now. Not these javelins, though, because we might use them. So yeah. Junk bag, as far as I know, has unlimited space. It's just to help you from having cluttered inventory. Bag of meal has worth, and there are quests that use it. Let's distribute our armor. let's save again. I really need to try and not save over my my long playthrough. Right. Buckets of water are not helpful. So there's a dude down there, but we can avoid interacting with him and go here, which is great because we get this spell. We get a weapon that is more his cup of tea. Anything that says crude is not going to be worth any money, so you might as well drop it once you get rid of it. Actually, maybe that's not true. I'm going to keep it for the time being. All right, so we are a bit better equipped now. We should preemptively heal Thalos, our lizard dude. Okay, and so here's Horarum and some goblins. Looks like they're going to talk to us because they're blue at the moment. The stairs down to the rest of Fort Ganrick are to the south, but they are guarded. You see the foes waiting to ambush you, and you immediately realize who is behind the assault. The goblins here are led by a Nephil warrior. The Nephilim are a race of fierce, clannish feline warriors. The Empire has slaughtered most of their number, sending a few survivors down to Avernum. Of late, the Avernites have made peace with some of their clans, but others remain determined to get revenge on humanity. This large hunter snarls and hisses when he sees you. It is luck, human prey for Horarum of the Fang clan. Easy prey. You think I am easy prey? Warriors of this fort are dregs. They run when we come. We hunt you all and take your fort for our own. First victory for the Fang clan. How about this? Leave now, and you can live. Horarum bares his teeth and lets out a long hiss. Flee at our moment of triumph? Never. That's a, it sounds like a line. Doesn't Grand Moff Tarkin say that in the first Star Wars, or the original Star Wars movie? All right. So we are definitely going to want to put ourselves in a position where we don't have to deal with a lot of them at once. The only downside to that is that when you stand there, you're a target for goblin flingers and other ranged attackers. They'll just like sit there and peg you for as long as you stand still. But it's the price you pay for not getting enveloped, and I think it's better. It saves your backline. And your backline is the support thing that'll keep you alive, so yeah. All right, so you can now shoot people. We also have our backline. Nice. And we're going to want to shield our folks. Oh, shit. Tactical awareness. Fail. They can come around the side. Okay. So he should perform much better now. I mean, I don't know if that was much better, but... Okay, we're doing a pretty good job wearing him down. Let's see if we can daze. So there is someone else back here. Okay, we dazed them, so they're not going to be coming around to help. It buys us a little bit of time. This guy's a little bit tough. We're doing good damage to him, though. We're hitting consistently. So they missed another turn. Hopefully, yeah, he should go down before they get around to us. Nice. Nephil on Nephil violence. Horarum falls to the ground, dead. He is far from the first to fatally underestimate the warriors of Avernum. You open the leather satchel hanging from his belt. Inside it, you find 2 scrolls. One of them is inscribed with magical runes. The other looks like a map. Interesting. You set the map aside, hoping to read it when the chaos has died down. All right, we still have to deal with the rest of these chumps. Getting flung at. these guys are still dazed. One thing to note is that so they're not dazed anymore. When you hit a dazed enemy, they automatically become undazed. That's whether you hit them with a single target spell or an AoE spell. So dazing and then hitting a group with an AoE spell is sort of counterproductive in the extreme. So keep that in mind. Ugh, a miss. So we're going to move these guys in here to force them to relocate. Okay, we didn't force them to relocate. We just shielded our back line from their attacks. But I think we have this well in hand at this point. So now we will move in on the ranged attackers. You can't trust the pathfinding of your characters. You need to sometimes very specifically manage which squares they move to in order to maximize your tactical efficiency or effectiveness. Doesn't matter too much right now. All right. So you have to be within 10 squares of each other to end the thing. Okay, so let's do loot. So there are more javelins on the ground. I don't think we're going to need them. We'll take them anyway. A piece of chainmail. So you see this encumbers mages, minus 5% chance to hit. Gives you a chance to evade attacks and armor. Its armor is superior, but there is that minus chance to hit. We're going to give this to you for the time being since you don't have a shield. This leather armor may be worth something. I don't remember. Sticks and garbage, not worth anything. So we want to make sure we get the loot from this guy. Silver necklace, some pants. Hey, no. You wear the pants. Okay. There is not a shortage of money in this game, but you do want to pick up most stuff in hopes that you can sell it. The door to the east is held shut by a padlock. That explains why the goblins haven't looted it yet. If you pick the lock, you might be able to take advantage of Fort Ganrick's limited supplies. Okay. The difficulty is 3. It doesn't tell you what the difficulty is if you succeed. It only tells you what the difficulty is if you fail. I happen to know it was 3, which is why I got 3 tool use. You get some healing herbs and a crude short sword, which we will give her so that she can do better. And so we're done with this top area. Let's go down. At last, you have found the path down to Fort Ganrick. The sounds of battle are still audible ahead, and you cannot tell whether the humans or Nephilim are winning. You take a moment to rest, and then you ready your weapons. Perhaps a few additional swords on the Avernite side can turn the tide of battle. Go downstairs. You run out into the main body of Fort Ganrick. Sure enough, the Nephilim found a way to infiltrate the fort and attack. 2 of them are to the west, sneaking in behind the barracks. When they see that you have spotted them, they charge. In the courtyard to the south, you can see guards fighting other Nephilim. Happily, it appears that your team is getting the best of the invaders. Alright, so that's them, the ones sneaking. Alright. Action happening off screen there. What the fuck is... Oh, it's creaking. There's a lot more noise in this game, which is pretty cool. Like ambient noise. So we... attacking the Spiritist would have been a better plan, but we wouldn't have been able to get everyone around there, so I just want to take people out as soon as we can. Okay. I live in constant terror of terror spells. Those are going to be a big problem for us in this game, I'm pretty sure. Okay, good. You start working on this dude. Oh, I should have immobilized him. We got another hybrid spellcaster. It's much easier for the bad guys to do. You jerk. Heal this. You're dead. All right, let's go help out down here. Your cloak spells will not work on friendly summons or random allies. Only your other buffs. So we want to position ourselves so we can get some of our random allies, the shield buff here. I have to remember that I'm on a face cam now. I can't kind of tilt myself out of the picture. Just trying to rest my shoulders. They're really sore from my training session yesterday. I'm ultimately trying to train for a sprint triathlon, and the trainer that I've got at the gym just sort of wrecked my shoulders yesterday. Let's see here. Okay. Die. I wonder how whatever my Mershon feels about killing Nephilim, killing his own people. I mean, I suppose we're killing our own people when we fight the Empire. I don't think he should feel any different about it. They're threatening his way of life, so he's gonna, and his friends, so he's gonna do something about it. Oh, you're totally fucked, Nephilim. Fang Clan lackey. An eerie quiet falls over the fort. All of the Nephilim goblin attackers have fallen. The soldiers look at each other, clearly shaken. After months of fearing an attack by the Empire, a humanoid raid was the last thing they were expecting. You realize that Captain Vidican will want a rapid report about the state of things in the cave above. Perhaps she will even find a job for you more fulfilling than manning a shovel. All right, let's do some looting. We'll just see how much of this we can end up selling. There's some people up here that we killed. A rank smell emanates from the narrow space behind the guest quarters. This is where the fort piles its trash before it gets burnt or thrown over the wall. So there's a cloak on the ground. Lizards are cold-blooded. He needs some more warmth. All right, so we've fended off this invasion of goblins and Nephilim, and we're going to end this episode right here. In the next one, we will go and give our report to Captain Vidican and see if she can, in light of our deeds, get us off of shovel duty. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have, please hit a thumbs up on that video, and please also consider subscribing to my channel. If you're not going to do any of those things, then, well, I don't care what you do.